Hello, 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 hello. Good morning, everyone. How are you? Welcome to another episode here on another day on a Wednesday. Just another day in paradise. Um, let's go with the challenges. I decided to name it challenges instead of problems, so it's better. Challenges. Challenges thus far. Um, we are working on still solar system, and it takes time. I'm working with a developer on that, and he's taking a little bit of time because it's like a learning curve. Um, since we are working with 3JS on that side, it's gonna be pretty cool, but it takes time, and we need to focus on making sure that it looks well and that it works well for what we try to accomplish. So, thus far, that's good. Other than that, challenges on the new project. Oh, so that was a secret project, which is basically the solar system. And now we move towards the new project, which is not really new. It's more like an enhancement of what we already have. And challenges are that um, I have to think how I am able to do this in the best possible way, right? That's that's the way to do this. So, yeah, how? Basically, what I'm doing right now, okay, is we have partnered with a new company, okay, collaboration, and it's um, it's a challenge because I have to rethink how we can bring this over to that side. So, anyways, let's go to present, okay? Present, I guess now I can make the announcement. So we are working with Oasis, and it's fantastic. Yesterday or tonight, I think at like midnight, I signed the contract. So we are awesome. We're good to go to work with them. And what will happen now is that we're looking at a massive scale multiplayer, basically, with cheaper costs, using a new technology called holochain, which we are basically deviating away from AWS. So, if this project goes through, we're looking to have a bunch of resources available for us, and we're working also with Arbitrium, which is awesome because in ICP we already were working with Arbitrium. So, with that said, we are looking into how we can expand this, right? So the current project chosen for this from our arsenal of projects that we're working on is the mini game, and in particular the mini tank game. Okay, so initially, I'm still playing around with ideas. Um, it's either I keep the same mini game that I have right now, or um, I'm looking to do something different. So the problem is the following. Right now, I think the client can easily handle maybe like, I don't know, 30 tanks versus 30 tanks. That's like 30 players versus 30 players. Okay. Um, I think I should do a some sort of card capture points. Okay, capture points, because if we don't have that, it's just a death match, and it's cool to have that match, but I don't think people will like that, um, in without capturing points. I just think it's better if we capture points. So either that or we do King of the Hill, but again, King of the Hill is just, yeah, I don't know about that. I think something more strategic, something more meaningful. Uh, it's looking like capture strategic points. Okay. Now, um, another thing that I've been thinking about is whether to eliminate those mechanics that I was talking about and just focus on a more of a number based, right? Because this means that it will be less things to show on the browser, right? Um, but the problem is that I feel this kind of deviates a little bit and it's not as engaging. Because we're looking, let's say, for example, we have like, I don't know, 30 people. So on one match, we have 30 people and we send them over, right? We send them over to to battle against uh, 30 other people. Okay, so if we focus on numbers based, this means, for example, like I don't know, we have 50. Let's say for each people you control like 10 tanks, right? And it's 30 times 10, 300. Okay, so um, from these 300 we're going to be capturing a point. And if we do that, let's say you capture a point, it's gonna be so many tanks that it will be just ridiculous. And I think it will really lag out the entire browser. Okay? So I was thinking instead to do a number based. Sorry guys, I'm dying of sleep as usual. But I was thinking of doing something more of a numbers, but basically, if if you're talking with your teammates, you can send like 100 tanks to a point, and you will not be working the mechanics of each tank, like rotating, firing, etc. It'll be more like just sending them over to a point, and if they are able to capture the point, it'll just be numbers. Like you start with 300 on the HQ, send 10,000 or 100 units to A. Okay, so that means that your friends have to understand the order, so they send each 10 tanks into point A, and you don't have to worry about the tanks battling each other on their way to point A. Basically, it's just sending tanks over to point A. Now, with this done, we don't have that issue now of tanks just kind of battling each other and creating a bunch of lag. Okay, and we can have more players within an HQ, right? So let's say we have, I don't know, we have 100 players on each side. Okay, now again, each person, oh my god, I swear to god, I'm so, whenever I do the streams, I don't know if I should change the time, because I swear to god, I am not yawning throughout the day. I only yawn at 8 a.m. I'm not even yawning when I'm coding. I just yawn when I do the live stream. I don't know if that's when I realize that I'm tired, but yeah. So basically, if we do 100 players and we have 10 tanks per player, we're looking at about what, 1,000 tanks in total. So you're gonna have a hierarchy at that point, right? And you're gonna say, all right, this person moved your tanks to this side, and this other person moved your tanks to this side. So that's the way to think about it, right? But the problem that I'm coming with if I do that is that how do we know which tanks are destroyed in each point? Like, let's say we're sending, I don't know, like 100 tanks to point A, and the enemy also sends 100 tanks to point A. So obviously defender, like whoever captures the point first, right, defender gets higher defense points, right? But the thing is, like, let's say, oh, I just realized maybe one way to fix it is not giving 10 tanks to a person, but instead just giving one tank to each person. That could work. Actually, that could work. So that way, we tell people to send tanks to a. So you have the clan leader, or in this case, it will be like a conglomerate, basically. Oh my god. So I'm thinking how to do this. Okay. Actually, it's a good thing that I'm doing this live because you cannot start to realize where I'm coming through. So I really would love to see battles where we have 100,000 people, but it needs to make sense because if we have, there's just no way that a computer, I don't think so, at least I don't know, there's just no way that a computer can do like 100 tanks with full-blown physics going on. Like, it's just gonna be madness. We can test it, but I just doubt that this will work, to be honest. I just doubt that it will work. Like 100,000 tanks, just each one moving. I think it's unrealistic. Okay. So I'm thinking that I do have to change my game mechanics for it. Yeah, thinking that's the best to do. And so okay. Okay, I think I know. Okay, so we're going to have then I think just a person controlling a tank, because if I do the numbers type, right, we have Jesus Christ, let's say we have an alliance. Okay, an alliance commander. So that alliance commander controls three conglomerates. Each conglomerate controls 30. Each conglomerate controls 9 guilds. Each guild controls 30 souls. So the chain of command is already established. All right. So ideally, your alliance leader will be probably the commander in the game. He might be, he might not be. Now that's complicated because to represent that in the game, okay, to represent an alliance commander in the game, that will mean that it not necessarily could be the alliance leader, right? So if we're talking about organizations, okay, we're talking about organizations and org, we have basically a guild leader, a conglomerate leader, an alliance leader. I'm not even talking about the new things that I discussed yesterday, which are the Federation, Empire, and Dominion leader, because that will be just insane. Like, the amount of players is just insane. But if I talk about what is this? Just for the amounts that we know of right now that I already established prior to yesterday, and an alliance leader might not necessarily be the assigned strategist. Okay, so let's think about this for a second. You are the assigned strategist. Okay. You will look at the map and you control the conglomerates below you. So each conglomerate will have his own assigned strategist. And then each conglomerate controls 9 guilds. Okay. So I didn't realize this, but we can look at that in chain of command, right? So each strategist for each guild controls 30 souls, which is manageable. I think controlling 30 people, it's manageable. Sorry, that was me. I was opening and closing the case. Thank you for letting me know, Luis. I appreciate it. Nice to see you this morning. So, yeah, I stopped with that. Yeah, I was fiddling around, fidgeting around with my fingers and opening and closing a case. So, yeah. Anyways, I come back to what I'm thinking. Great strategy and planning. Thank you. Yeah. So this is kind of already laid out. This is kind of already laid out for alliances, for a group where you can assign a strategist for your alliance. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to work this way per se, because if I force it upon alliances to use what I'm saying that should be used, which is one strategist for an alliance, one strategist for each conglomerate, one strategist for each guild, it might not necessarily be what an alliance might want to choose, right? An alliance might just say, I want 3 strategists and that's it. And so I should not meddle in clan structures, should be open. But we do have size constraints for each alliance. Okay. So so um so that assigned strategist might not be the best that we can do. So I'm thinking then we will just put, if it's a 30,000 versus 30,000 players, just put them in one HQ, okay, and allow them to organize themselves. So a tank, so a user can send their tank to each point that they want to do it. So if I do that route, that means that they can go wherever they want to. They can go to capture point A, point D, point F, point Zulu, whatever. I don't care. So if we go that route, then users get to choose which point to go to. We don't worry about the chain of command. The clans worry about the chain of command. Now, I do want to provide a visualization, a chart for commanders to use. I think that will be beneficial. But I think that's out of the scope of what I want to do right now. We can just let them group each other and that's it. But if I do decide to do that, and we have enough time to do it for this particular project, then I don't see a problem with doing it. Okay, but I just have really rough 2 weeks. I gotta fulfill a bunch of stuff within 2 weeks. So, actually, is it even by 2 weeks? I feel like I messed up and I said like within 1 week. Yeah, approximately a week and a half. So I'm alright. Um, so yeah, I think the best way to do this would just be 30,000 versus 30,000. Let the clans arrange it, and if I have time, make an organization chart the clans can use, so that they can do their own formations, basically, whatever works best for them, and assign users to those formations, leaders, multiple leaders, whatever they want to do. Create that flexibility, but allow them to create those formations, basically. Because right now, the military, you can create formations however you want to. We have strategists. I think the United States works with a way where there's, I think is, I can remember right now. I don't know if I will call it a squad leader, but they have something where a commander can control all the units, but you have each kind of unit having its own control, basically. Like they can make decisions on the fly. They don't need to be following always the decisions of the commander. So if that's the case, then I think leaving it open might be a better idea than just kind of not leaving it open. So with that taken into account, um, I look now at the map, and maybe I can pull it here. I'm not sure. I don't want to mess around with stuff and then just kind of. What happens if I hide this? Well, my bongo cat is not even working, so I don't even know why I have that there. Yeah, my bongo cat is not working, so it doesn't matter, I guess. Um, maybe I can do it if I. No, I'm not sure. I will have to check the scene. I don't want to mess around with it. Maybe tomorrow I do the what I'm thinking around for capture points. But basically, I'm thinking that yeah, I want to go that route. Let the users kind of go whatever they want to, and allow the clans to control where they want to move their assets. Have control groups. So this game is gonna be very, very strategy oriented. It's a mini game, so that means that the user, uh, you know, the thing is, it has to be fun, right? So communication wise, it's perfect. Okay, so that means you're gonna have to do heavy thinking with your teammates. Um, one okay, so let's talk about game mechanics. So you're just basically sending your tank, you're sending your asset, right, to each position. Okay, so we solved the issue now with having 10 tanks and then one dying, and then we don't know where to track that. So having one tank per person kind of solves that issue. Okay, because it's less things that we have to do on the server side. Now, you send it over, you support your clan, and hopefully you capture it. What happens if you die? If you die, your tongue will spawn back. Okay, and we're gonna have to look now into resources, because if you upgrade your tank, you might want to. I think you will have to track it, right? Like the players, the commanders, or whoever is in there, they're gonna have to track all the upgrades for each tank, for who has which upgrades, or it could be just that they upgrade on the fly on the battlefield. That could be it too. So, um, yeah, we have to look into that, because what happens now is we come into a layer of complexity where we have tanks that are different parameters, and when we have that on a server basis, it becomes now extremely complex, because if before we're just looking at numbers, it's easier, right? So you just say, I have 100 tanks in this point A. I sent 150 tanks from this other person into A, from the enemy into A. Then we do some calculations, and now you're looking at, I don't know, you're looking at 50 tanks or 60 tanks uh, left over in the defense position, because they're defense, they get extra bonus points. Um, you know, so it's much easier. But if we talk about now that a tank has a certain armor upgrade, a certain firing rate, or whatever, we're looking now into some serious business when it comes to sending tanks over to a point, because now each tank will have its own attributes that we'll need to calculate for the server. And I think, even though I really want to do that and explore that option, I just don't think I can do that within the 2 weeks or a week and a half that I have time for. So, yeah. Um, so I think from a fun standpoint, where we're looking to do this, I think the best, um, or the most fun scenarios are that you get to talk with your comrades, you get to assign your tank to a position. If it dies, you get to spawn it again and either send it to a certain position, or maybe the commander tells you send it another way. Okay. We also get the chance, so that, let's say a position is captured, you get the chance to follow your squad to go to the other capture point, or remain in there, right? Depends what they want to do. So I guess it's not that bad from a fun, from a fun standpoint, because if we think about this, is that you're gonna get money, okay? So you're gonna get money. So let's say, I don't know, we have $10,000 or $20,000 for this game, where we have like 100,000 versus or actually I don't even think that. Let's say each clan has to put in $1 per each in the, person just to enter the competition. That's like $30 per guild. If we're looking at 100,000 players, that's about 100,000 times 100 against $100,000. So you're looking at about a competition of $200,000. Okay, $200,000 just from 200,000 players basically playing. Where the winner takes it all basically, right? The winner takes it all. So I think from that standpoint it's very cool, right? Because you're looking at getting resources that you can use for your guild to pay your buddies or whatever. Now, I think from a basic standpoint, again, I'm not gonna use that. I'm gonna use that later, probably. But I think that's a fun that's a fun part, right? Like if I'm competing, making sure that I'm following orders, having fun, trying to capture points and defeat the enemy, right? We're talking about now alliances, comradeship. I think those are great. If we're talking about a guild, being part of a guild is a really awesome experience. You get to use your emblem and stuff like that. Maybe one thing we can do is show emblems on the tanks, but again, that's future things. So I think that thus far the idea is great. I think we can push that forward. I think it can be fun, but it will take a lot of work. I think I solved a lot of issues right now talking about it here on YouTube actually. And so I will push forward with this new idea and try to fulfill it within a week and a half, which is just gonna be crazy because I gotta do a lot of crap. So yeah, I think that I will work with that and show the progress here. Unfortunately, I don't know how I can show 100,000 players versus 100,000 players. I don't know. Maybe we can do something smaller, but I'm gonna have to use AWS or whatever technologies I use with them to kind of showcase this. So we're gonna have to recruit players basically for this into the clans. And my only pet peeve about this is that we are doing everything on Arbitrium, but ideally I want to be on ICP. So, but the thing is that ICP can use Arbitrium. So I gotta figure out how that will work because even though I want the clans to be on Arbitrium because I think that would be cool, um, right now our infrastructure will be skewed if we don't do what I want to do, everything on ICP. Okay. So I gotta think about that because ideally you needed to get a passport to be able to form a clan. So if I don't do that, now you're looking into doing a clan without a passport. So that goes against our structure. Okay. But I think for demo purposes, that's okay. But again, if we get a bunch of players and they gotta redo their stuff, there has to be meaning for it. And I highly doubt that. I don't know. I think I'm thinking too much. Maybe I'm just gonna let the passports be without payment for these particular players, and we are gonna have to reorganize our assets. I'll figure it. I'll figure it. But yeah, we have some issues there with organization between chains. It's annoying. It's really annoying because I really want to use ICP because it's just so much cheaper, right? Um, but like we have now this issue here for clans, so yeah, we'll see. Anyways, that's the present that I'm working on. So again, very big announcement, and if everything goes well, we're looking at a very big grant, very big grant, and I think it's doable. I think it's possible. I think it's possible for us to do something super amazing that no one has ever seen, ever, because nobody, I this game nobody will have seen it ever. No one, no one. There's just there's no way for something like this to have happened. So, well, let's just hope that we can do this correctly. So, that's basically it for the present future. The next 2 weeks or a week and a half, I'm gonna be working on the minigame, new instance of the minigame, not the old instance. and just trying to make it work ASAP. So yeah, that's at least for me. Thankfully, we have here on our end Lewis working with us on the other project, which as of right now remains kind of secret, but it's just related to the solar system, which can also be integrated with this mini game. So we'll see how that works, but I really do think that it can be made with this mini game as well. So yeah. Anyways, that's my future and long-term future. As always, trying to integrate all the mechanics together. We gotta make a use of that Ra and task. So again, I just hope that people take this and understand that it's a demo, and that we're doing or we are omitting a lot of stuff because it's a demo. Okay, it's not meant to be used as is without a Ra and task tokens, because otherwise it would just make absolutely no sense for us to have a Ra and task token, and that's just not the point. All right, that's not the point. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow, same time, 8 a.m. Lima, Peru time. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Peace.